Let's start by talking to Tom in Minnesota. Minnesota is a place that I like. Tom in Minnesota. I might even move to Minnesota one day. I hope that we'll be great neighbors and friends. I imagine, Tom, the weather there must be much nicer than it is here right now. Am I wrong?
I don't know where you are actually off the top of my head, but here it's about 61 degrees. So if that's your style, then yeah.
So jealous. I'm in Texas. It hit 101 where I am today.
Oh yeah, no, it's much better here, of course. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you're getting that good weather. Well, Tom, I like to start that way. Start with a little place of we can acknowledge we're both humans. We both recognize good and bad weather. There's something about our human experience we have in common. Now let's find out if there's somewhere we diverge. And it looks like you want to disagree with the title topic, or by the way, you are welcome to go into any of the other things we tend to talk about. I don't know your familiarity here, but go ahead, Tom.
Okay, sure. I guess just, recently we were here. I can't say I have a ton of experience we guys talked on the past, but just on the basis of it being, I don't know exactly. It says something about trans, the disagreement is, unscientific or something, right?
Yeah, I can give you the title again. MAGA's obsession with we'll just say transgender issues in general, or however you want to take it, honestly, will work, but that it is unscientific. And we added the word creepy to it as well, because it seems to me and to many of us that the obsession has very little to do with the actual experiences of the individuals and a sort of internal commentary on the person, how the person more feels about themselves, is where I would go. For example, I think that men who are offended by very feminine queer men tend to just be easily emasculated men and think that somehow it somehow comments on their manliness if they just let that be and don't bully those people. But yeah, Tom, it's unscientific to say the least.
Sure, and I guess are we talking the social sciences here, or what? Do you have a study that you could just because? What is the claim more that are you doing the brain sex thing, that the brain chooses the sex and the body, or what's, when you say it's unscientific, what's your basis here? Is my question.
Boy, the breadth of what that answer could be is so large that I think the simplest way would be, what is a scientific claim you think comes out of MAGA that is legitimate, that is in opposition to what trans people and trans advocates are working for?
Okay, you're going to hate my answer. Prepare you guys in your audience for groans here. Simple as biological sex, binary, male or female. That's, I know, I know the eyes are rolling. Yeah, but my thing is that it's simple as that, right? And
so if it's as simple as that, why is it that isn't? Why is that not the position of biologists, for example? Why is it even that? And by the way, we're already diverging from the issue at hand, because you are wanting to have a discussion about sex, and this would be a discussion about gender. But yeah, go ahead, Arden.
I was going to specifically ask, what do you think it is? What is it that you think trans rights activists disagree with that conflicts with your understanding of biological sex?
We'll just start with something very obvious. Here in Minnesota, in fact, it was a big deal, at least, not so much myself. I don't got a kid in high school. I don't really care too much, but, it pops up on the news feed algorithms, as you will. But okay, forgive me for saying our own pronouns and so forth. Truly, I'm, trying my best to do this stuff. I might misspeak. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but a trans woman in high school, or a girl, I don't know, a young, I don't know, you can know what that, she was 14, 15, or but born a male. And I'm struggling with this, is that she and her team absolutely dominated the softball state championships, where they had 2 back-to-back shutouts. She pitched back-to-back games. I'm talking these little girls. I mean, because she's a girl too. They couldn't hit her. She's 6 foot, taller than all these, and all those kids. If I'm just saying, I don't have a kid in that team, but my gosh, that's just the one thing that just stands out to me is it's kind of ludicrous. The Overton window shifted where trans are now almost, not almost, but it's been more normalized. Where 20, 30 years ago, saying gay marriage should be a thing was crazy, and then all of a sudden say otherwise is crazy, right? So I understand, we're trying to push for progressiveness and so forth, but I think there reaches a limit where it's just going against common sense for the sake of I don't know. So again, do you think this woman, this young woman, I'm calling, she's a girl, okay, 15, 16-year-olds, who knew who they were at that age? Sorry, I wasn't that confident in my sexuality. I didn't know if I could produce. Sorry, I didn't know about anything at that age, you know? So my point is that I'm just making it clear that, is it okay with you to have whole trans woman in sports going on? Because doesn't that take away opportunities from biologically, and again, sex, gender, again, my point is that it takes away opportunities from women.
Let's slow down for a second here, Tom. I just don't want us to broaden this too much, because then it just becomes difficult to kind of address like everything we're talking about. So like, broadly speaking, I do support trans people being included in sports. And I think there's a number of different things we can talk about there. I think like my primary opposition is to a unilateral ban of trans people in sports in general, which are like usually what the policy prescriptions to oppose this look like, where trans people are just not allowed to compete in sports. Like sometimes they'll say you just can't compete in women's sports. Sometimes we're just not allowed to compete in sports in general. And I think most people would agree that. So I first of all, I don't necessarily accept that trans women, that they would look like biological men, for a language that's comfortable for you, across the board when studied.
I'm saying she was like 6 foot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
No, it's okay. I don't really care what her height is. It's not actually really relevant to the point I'm making. My point is that like the policy implications are a ban that unilaterally bans a group of people for a trait that some of them might have hypothetically, but that they don't necessarily have. And I would advocate for policies that are going to have some sort of like objective criteria, right? Like let's say height is really important for this particular sport, right? I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying let's hypothetically, height is really important for performance in this sport. Then you should have some sort of ban on height rather than sex. And while sure, height is correlated with sex to a certain degree, there are going to be people who are trans women who do not meet that criteria, but are being banned for no reason. And so the question I would ask back to you, Tom, was let's imagine a cisgender woman, right? Who, for whatever reason, has all the same advantages that a trans woman would have. Let's say she's 6 feet tall, she's very muscular. We can speculate about why. Maybe there's some sort of disorder of sexual development. Maybe she has naturally high testosterone. It doesn't really matter. So this cis woman exists. She has all those same advantages. Should she be banned from sports?
No, of course not. Again, I think we're getting off topic here. Let's just.
So, no, but this is the problem. Very small. No, sorry, Tom, but this is the problem, right? When you come in and say, oh, trans women shouldn't be allowed to compete because she's going to have some sort of biological advantage. She's so much taller, they can't hit her. And then I say, well, what happens when a cis woman has all those same exact examples? And you say, well, of course she shouldn't be banned, right? So then that reveals that the issue you have is not actually with the biological advantage.
Well, because it's not one, it's many. I mean, let's be honest here. The chances of, for example, this girl's 15, right? So she probably, I don't know.
It's not a one-off one.
He said it's not one, it's many, which... By the way, Tom, just so you know, Tom, hang on, Tom. Just so you know, the contention we're going to have at the end of whatever you say is possibly with the things you say, but also the fact that actually it isn't many. In fact, I bet you can list more transgender athletes that you think are competing unfairly than you can list women's athletes in general that are not trans. That it's actually because you're focused.
There's only, again, I think the number is
because you're focused. Tom, you could dedefinitely, Tom, you're the exception, but we talk to these people every day. And usually if I'm like, name three competitive softball players right
Minnesota,
now.
Home of the Lynx, baby. Maya Moore is like a god. I mean, I'm just saying, you guys are talking 4 straight back-to-back WNBA titles. I'm very proud of that, So come on.
So the reason why you believe it is a lot is because there is a very short list of names that come in front of you. And by the way, people don't follow up with like, oh, Leah Thomas did such and such, and we're going to ignore that a cis woman immediately broke her record after, or whatever comparable thing. By the way, it took me very little searching to find out that there is in Minnesota a cis woman, Emmy Sylvia Cochran, in 2025 also set the Minnesota single game strikeout record with 26 Ks in a 12 inning 1-0 victory. So this is a cis woman who has actually outperformed in 2025 the trans woman that you are describing.
At what level is that? See, when you say strikeouts, there's like multiple divisions. You played high school sports to understand this. that's not at the highest level. I'm talking at the state championship in division. We have a different division. So the point is the highest division. It's 3 or 4, but the point is that, yeah, it's just something that these, young women don't have a lot of sports. Again, they don't have a lot of opportunity as men do not. There's only one big women's league, the WNBA, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you take there's not a national college softball league. It's college softball. I said college. It's not a national softball league. You know what I'm saying? Show me if I'm wrong. The point is that it's like if we take away these opportunities, it's like to give the advantage to one. Much like how you said you can only name 32 or 34. It's not that many, and there's not that many advantages. Sure, we can play the if and but if we're going on averages, on average, trans women outperform compared to non-trans women. Don't come out, please. And on average, they don't need. So why are we?
But you're wrong.
The rule of say
but you are wrong. You are only talking about the people who are the exceptions. Most trans people do not compete. Trans people have been able to compete at the Olympics for years. Guess how many gold medals they
20
have?
Years.
20 years. How many gold medals do you think trans women have at the Olympics?
Probably proportionate to the amount of percentage there on the unit population, which is, again,
you think so? Do you think so? Because it's zero.
Trans in India
Tom, it's zero. Trans people have 0 gold medals. What?
The point is that there's clearly not an epidemic.
If there were really I'm looking right here. Mariah Anderson, in the entire history of Minnesota state softball, became only the 6th pitcher in the state history to surpass 1,000 career strikeouts. That's a cis woman. Again, outperformed your trans example.
No, because that's a different division. Do you understand? Division work. She's from a small school.
This is from only in the entire state history. To be able to surpass 1,000 career strikeouts. Presumably, your trans athlete that you're using as your sacrificial lamb here has gone through the division progression as well.
Sure. Okay. Honestly, we're trying to get on to the minutia again. And the thing is, we
have to get onto the minutia because this is a minutia issue. Trans people represent a tiny population, and now you want an even tinier population of them. So we're talking about a minutia issue that, again, you can't demonstrate they are outperforming normal biological advantages. If there is something that is clearly unfair, most people support regulating the sport in whatever way brings the fairness back. Unlike the South Park episode, nobody supports just I am a fully male presenting thing and now I'm just going to say I'm a woman and go and compete and beat out all of these women. And that's clearly been demonstrated to be the case because once again, 0 gold medals from the Olympics.
I guess, okay, yeah. If you think there's gold, I mean, again, it's 1% of the, I think that's just like less than 1% of just United States people being trans. But let's just you think that applies in sub-Saharan Africa? Do you think they even know what transgender is? I'm sorry. Take one from Chad.
No, excuse me. Tom, just because people don't know what words to put to their experiences doesn't mean they don't exist.
You're using the Olympics,
Tom, we absolutely know that trans people have always existed, even if they didn't have language to put it to. So yes, I believe that probably whatever the percentage is, let's say it's 1, it may be higher because just like we're finding out with queerness, the more acceptance you have, the more it turns out that more and more people come out, and right now you've got a big influx of bisexuality coming out of the newer generations. They may be even higher, but let's say it's 1%, and that's roughly what it actually is. Yeah, I would expect to find it just maybe not self-identified, maybe not by those terms, but that yes, I think that it's weird you're going with Africa, but yes, I would expect to find 1%. Of Africans.
Let's go to India. Sorry, why is it weird?
Sure,
why
India.
does it always be a race or what's all this culture war shit? I thought it was 2025. I thought we're over it. I was wrong.
You're the one who's bringing it there.
What did I? All I said was I think it's weird you went with Africa.
Africa. Why? Are you assuming I'm a bigot? You think I'm a bigot? What are you trying to say?
Tom, I don't know yet.
Tom's crashing out. He's having like this Destiny incel crash out.
Tom, who did you vote for in 20?
I don't need that shit.
Who did you vote in 2016, 2020, and 2024? Was it all Trump?
I proudly voted for Hillary Clinton, my queen. I read her biography. In 1994, she was for single payer. She was, again, I'm not an idiot. I'm sorry if I disagree on this one cultural issue that's only less than 1%. On the majority of things would be in line. I'm in Minnesota, all right?
Tom, I think after you're going to have to go back and watch this call and see how sensitive and emotional you became to very mundane remarks.
Well, you brought up it's weird you brought up Africa. No,
it was weird.
Explain to the people why you brought up Africa. What was your
It was weird.
there?
It was weird. It seems out of nowhere. It seems out of nowhere that you would pick something of like, here's a country that I expect to be more ignorant of things like gender issues and stuff, or a continent. I expect them to be more ignorant, and therefore I'm going to make some kind of. Tom, could I finish? Tom, do you want the explanation of why it was weird? Or do you want to talk over me?
Because I'm here to explain the Destiny fast talk edgelord thing.
Right, Tom. I'm not impressed.
Is. No, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm saying
Tom, it's okay if you don't know who Destiny is. I also tell people they're Kellyanne Conwaying who don't know who Kellyanne Conway is.
I know that is. Yeah, the Trump lady back in the day. Yeah,
and you're Kellyanne Conwaying, by the way, too.
What about Kellyanne Conway?
You're Conwaying.
Okay, see, sure. I don't.
Are you ready to return to the conversation, or does it have to be you're going? Why do you have to make it about identity politics while melting down over the remark? Because it is weird to bring up another continent, another region of the planet.
Charlie Kirk, like, let's own the libs.
It was also just completely irrelevant to the conversation. Like, there was nothing about that statement that was relevant to the conversation. It was just weird in like a conversational element. It's like just completely out of left field non sequitur.
Let's prove it's about the Olympics, which is a world competition.
Prove it's not weird. Go ahead, Tom, and explain to us why bringing up sub-Saharan Africa was what I believe you said. Go ahead and explain why that's important to our point about MAGA's obsession with trans people is unscientific. Please, Tom, make the connection and I will apologize.
Okay. You don't need to apologize. I don't need it. But my thing is that why I brought sub-Saharan Africa up is because we're bringing up the Olympics, which is a worldly competition, right? And not weird, but do you know about the different different hominids pre-sapien? There was Australopithecus, there was Erectus, there was Homo neanderthalis, there was Homo the other one.
New non sequitur.
2017 by Flavia Pinto. My point is that due to this, right, they carry different traits. And so if you ever did 23andMe, pop up saying you have this percent of Neanderthal DNA, and this leads to having, certain traits that genetically proven in our S&P markers in our biological genome, like our human genome.
We're going there. Okay.
No, my point is that
this conversation is actually detached from the topic and reality all in one.
It's unscientific. I'm asking, and don't need to come. I'm saying yes for me to explain. I'm trying to go fast to be like kind to your viewers. So if you want me to take my time,
go slower.
If you want to pull up eloquence and impress an audience and be performative like you guys are so good at doing, I can do that myself. But
Tom, I'm just waiting for you to return to the point. I've just been sitting here patiently waiting for this to connect, and you can't get it.
What you think? Show me. Okay, it's like a percentage of transparency in Southern Africa. Like, show me that. Like,
why would that matter? Tom. Hey, Tom. My favorite color is red. Can either of us justify why what I said and what you just said has anything to do with MAGA's unscientific views about trans people? I suspect you can't, and I know I can't figure it out.
About to defend bring up Africa, and I was trying to, and now you're cutting me off to bring up the color red.
Yeah, super balls are super bouncy.
Gave you like 30 seconds uninterrupted to make the point, and you went on a completely second irrelevant tangent, not defending your point at all.
I think you were trying to compare. I think you were trying. I think Tom. Let me point out what it was sounding like. The direction you were going. Jesus Christ, Tom. Please rein in your emotions, Tom. You're being far too emotional. Please rein them in. Bring them down, Tom. Because you didn't finish your point, let me explain to you where it looks like you were going, and maybe you will want to. It looks like you were trying to compare the biological advantage of what you believe is trans people to a biological advantage that you think sub-Saharan African people have because of it sounded like their closer relation to early hominid species, which would both mean you don't understand white people are the ones who have the Neanderthal blood, but I know they do. I do digress. Okay, so Tom, when that's what it sounds like, the direction you're taking it is, maybe don't diverge from it to then go off on an absolute nonsense lecture and finish your point, because right now it sounded like gross race realism kind of shit. So would you like to now get out of that doghouse and finish it?
Yeah, I don't think, again, it's 2025.
Yeah.
Race realism is still scary, a big bad guy, or is there a truth?
Oh, wait, Tom. Oh, my God, Tom. Oh, my God.
I'm serious.
Oh my God, Tom.
But I always
Tom, are you familiar with what race realism is?
He believes that there's different traits in different humans.
Tom, chill. I need to know the answers to a couple questions from you. Let's keep it simple. Yes or no's would be great. Tom, are you familiar as a movement with what race realism is? Not if you want to take it off some obscure direction, like, oh, well, black people have higher blood pressure and need different medications and older age than white people do, or when they have higher blood pressure. Not that. Not trying to make it a literal and save it. The term race realist, if I go on the internet and represent race realism, you recognize that that is a specific movement with specific claims, correct?
To a degree, I understand it's cringe to be part of that movement, but I don't like also the back.
Tom, is that the question I asked?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
You don't recognize that that's a specific movement with specific claims represented by people like Stefan Molyneux and other of the 23
well, he clearly does
weirdos.
Because he just tried to say, I realize it's cringe to be a part of that movement. So he clearly does know what the movement is. He just doesn't want to admit it because it's going to make him look like a racist.
I think about Nick Fuentes. Like, that's who I think of. I don't know Stefan Molyneux.
I think about, and Tom, I got to tell you right now, if I'm dividing the room, I'm putting you so far with what you've said because you still haven't cared to correct my interpretation of you going down a race realism. I said that's where it seemed like you were going. You go, but is race realism so bad? But anyway, you didn't care to correct that. So if I'm dividing up the room and I'm making the room of like, here's Nick Fuentes' team and here's my team, you're not going on my team.
Well, I'm the one who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Were you too cool to vote then? When you guys were still on like the Free Palestine kick, not voting for Kamala still? Or was I the one doing my job as a mayor?
Tom, everybody's
crashing out on something irrelevant again.
It's also wild. I voted for Kamala Harris despite being a leftist and feeling we got fucked by the DNC and think that the DNC is a disgusting organization filled with corrupt politicians and that we as a country will move on better when we get rid of people like them, and yet still chose the lesser of two evils. And I voted for Hillary Clinton and I voted for Joe Biden. So it's funny how you can't just ask a question that you think is relevant. You just have to throw something out there, see if it sticks. You're trying this like diarrhea against the wall, and what doesn't slide off of the acrylic is your method of debating here. And you have yet to just simply answer yes or no questions without trying to go up down some non sequitur point. Tom, does the science currently support that trans people should be allowed to transition, have access to medical transition, or does it not?
You're 18 years old? No. Over 18, do what you want.
Why would it matter? Why would medical advice not apply to children?
For the same reason, if I get, let's say, a misdemeanor, some felony when I'm 16, it's on my record at 19.
If you get what?
Same reason.
Misdemeanor felony.
Okay, great. But if you got appendicitis at 16, do we let you die?
Okay. Hold on.
Tom, answer the question. Answer the question, Tom. Tom, we're not going to go down your non sequiturs. Do we give you the prescribed? Do we give you the recommended? Do we give you?
Is that what we're doing?
Do we give you the recommended?
No, Tom, but I bet you that's what you wish we were doing because you're crashing out so hard. It's your only out.
Jesus Christ, Tom. Do we or do we not give children the recommended medical care when medical issues come up?
Okay. In that blanket statement, yes, I'll agree.
Great. Sure. Do we treat children for depression?
Yeah, we do, but that's
do we give cis children puberty blockers?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Why?
Some kids are short. They need to get a little taller.
That's not why we give them puberty blockers. Puberty blockers. What is a puberty blocker?
I'm doing a yes/no game with you. You're doing a yes. I'm getting perjured.
Puberty blockers. What do we give puberty blockers for?
Block puberty.
Why? Why would we give that to a child? Should we give those to children?
I mean, that's the thing we have for a long time. And so that's,
should we give puberty blockers to children, to cis children? We're not even talking about trans, cis children. Should we give them puberty blockers if medically they are indicated as necessary?
Give me an example. Would be medically, off the top of my head, I can't think of one that would necessitate that, but we've been doing it for years.
So you literally don't even know. So basically what you're saying is all of these things that exist,
all
all of these things that exist for the betterment of a cis child's life, you're happy with. But if we introduce these to a trans child to make their life better, shut it down.
Can I give you an example why not? Can I get a sentence in, please? Just quick. Because this is something that's kind of close to me. In fact, I can walk to the Annunciation Church right now. And so we had a trans person who rejected their transition because they did it prior to 18. And so now they were 19 or 20, now they were post 18. The brain develops it. But if you know what synaptic pruning is, it goes up until you're 25. It takes on the gray matter of your brain and it's this shit. Makes your neurons more efficient. Okay. Point is that up until that point, which is why a lot of times we always hear brain's not developed through 25. And again, that's a small study. I think it's 28 off the top of my head. But that's real science. The point I make is that this person killed children, right? We looked at Catholic Church. Shout out St. Thomas Aquinas, some named after, so shout the Catholics, real talk. The Irish Catholics.
I'm sorry, on fucking Cape Horn to get to the point with these non sequiturs, Tom.
I stroked out, and when I came back, Tom was trying to So I think I have to mute Tom because
the
he can't help himself.
Church.
Tom, how was the answer to the question? Why should trans kids not have access to the care that cis kids get? How could the answer possibly be, let's talk about the trans person who, by the way, I'm going to ignore the fact Tom, shut the fuck up. Tom, you can't help yourself. Who I'm going to completely ignore the fact that the manifesto clearly makes it not about trans issues, but white supremacy issues. And that would be a MAGA issue. It's funny how they want to be like, oh, but that must be in category team trans. How in the world are we going? How does it come from? How does it come from? Okay, Tom. Hey, Tom, the shooter believed that, the manifesto states that. I gotta tell you, hey.
Oh, you laughed. What a good counter argument. You're so smart. What a good little boy you are. You bet your mom is so proud of you, Tom.
Arden, last time you did your, excuse me, Tom, I have to ask Arden a question. Last time you took medication related to your transition, did it make you feel like not enough Jews had died in the Holocaust?
It didn't actually. It did make me feel a little less bummed that day. But I had no feelings related to the Jews.
So, Tom, if what you're saying is true, we'll be able to easily point to radical organizations made up of trans people and those behind the trans ideology who center things like the Holocaust should have been worse, right?
I mean, the Zizian cult, quite literally, is they killed, I think.
Who?
The Zizian cult. You ever heard of the Zizians? The transgender cult that's murdering people that this person was a part of? Yeah. Look it up.
It's just fun that you think that this tiny group,
we all know
whatever answer you're going to come up with, it's funny how,
Mickey Mouse.
Tom, it's funny how you think that a tiny group, as though if I were to sit here and go Christians are bad because shut the fuck up, Tom. How is it possible that you think you're participating in a conversation if you can't let a person finish their point? You know that you're not. You know that you're not actually here for a back and forth because you haven't let anybody finish the point. No, you are not. You are here. You are here to have an emotional breakdown.
Yes or no? Can you answer my question?
And shout the things out.
I didn't yell at you. Be respectful.
No, I'm not going to be respectful of you, you fucking little bigoted twerp. Tom, I don't give a shit about you. Tom, you know what? Tom, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do, Tom. I haven't done it up until this point, but I will now. I'm going to mute you because you're not capable of shutting the fuck up. You think that the line of respectful is whether or not an insult goes out? I don't know. I think the line of respectful is, can I get to the period in my sentence? Can I have my question answered instead of responded back with a straw man of my position, but also from an irrelevant position? This whole it's like you are like a Mormon. I wouldn't be surprised if you are, in fact, a Mormon, where it's like, oh, I'm out here advocating for everybody to lose their rights. And I hope that these families get broken up. And I hope that everybody has I want to make their depression worse, their anxiety worse. I want to make their outcomes worse. But I never said a swear word. So you're the problem because you said fuck. Did you just say fuck? So, Tom, if you're going to continue here, you have to actually engage in a back and forth. Otherwise, we're just going to find out which one of us is better at being an asshole. And I've got 7 years of really good practice. Am I up to 8 now? I doubt you can beat me in a roast off. Plus, it's unbalanced. I can mute you and call you whatever I want to you and hear nothing back. I'll cheat. I don't give a fuck. and I'm not even trans. I'll cheat at this sport and I'm cis as fuck. Because that's, by the way, it's funny how the massive amount of cheating that happens in sports is actually cis people, but these same people who care about the trans people in sports do not have a fucking opinion on all of the cis cheating in sports. But anyway, here we'll now unmute Tom. Tom, are you capable, or are you just going to be a fucking asshole?
Okay, I'm capable. I got to say your joke about I forget it now, but I thought I wasn't muted, and I thought you had a funny joke there in the middle of your little tirade. So props to you. I'll take a deep breath.
I was really worried that you thought it was funny, so that helps. It's very affirming.
I see this whole sarcasm. It doesn't need to be there. I was being genuine. My bad. But one thing I want to make clear, and then I'll
you fucking weren't. You little liar. That's funny. You actually made me laugh with that one because it was so fucking obviously bullshit. But that was pretty good.
You had a funny joke back there too, there, Tom.
Okay. Honestly, who cares? I genuinely was being, because I forget the point is I was being serious. But okay, let's just move on. My thing is that I want to make it clear. When you got tired before you muted me, and then I'll let you have the floor, about how I don't care about you. Why should that's so affirming? You understand why Wisconsin, Michigan, the rest of Pennsylvania went red? Because of people like me are going to, we see these extremes, and we see that. No, let me finish my sentence. Please.
Oh, I can't say Tom. I can't say Tom.
I'm sorry. I'm a lifelong person who's voted less down ticket. Less down ticket. I was raised by liberals. I was raised with those values. I'm a Minnesotan. I'm proud at that.
Wait, you think leftism and liberalism are the same?
You feel really cool because your dad is so disappointed in you, right?
Let me get one thing in. My point is that
I don't know. You've interrupted us this whole call. Do you really deserve the dignity or the respect?
It's the reason you guys lost.
Oh, is it?
Tell me about it.
Interesting, Tom, because you know what doesn't support that? Any data. The reason why the liberals lost, because when you say you guys, I'm a leftist, I'm not a liberal, fuck the liberals, they're disgusting, and they really created their own loss there. But I still voted for them because lesser of two evils. Tom, the reason why they lost was because Donald Trump actually acknowledged that they were hurting and promised change. He lied about it, but that's what happened. Whereas the liberals tried to go like, what do you shut the fuck up,
Believe what they're saying, guys. It's not for the white male
voter. Tom, shut the fuck up. I'm not done with my goddamn point. It was absolutely, there's no data to back up what you're saying. You can actually look at exit polling, what people actually voted on. Trans stuff is way. All right. Because you can't you fucking cannot resist. Donald Trump acknowledged their pain. Kamala Harris tried to say, no, the economy's good. Look at these numbers I have. As people were like, gas is high, prices are high. No, but we did better than, which is true, but a terrible delivery. We did better on inflation than the rest of the world. Therefore, it's not an issue. With no hard good and here's what we're going to do, because inflation you can't reverse without a recession. So my plan has to be to increase your wages. So here's how we're going to do it. Where Donald Trump went out and lied. And Donald Trump said grocery prices will go down. Donald Trump said the gas prices will go down. He's right now saying that. He's right now claiming that they did go down, and his own supporters on Truth Social going, who is telling him this? They are still more expensive. He said the cost of something this week was in half of what it used to be, and it's actually gone up another several percentage points. So that is why they won, because at the end of the day, Tom, just like women's sports, they don't actually give a fuck about anything but whether or not they think their lot in life is going to improve. So you can assert this is why they lost as much as you like, but you can't prove it. I, however, Tom, called the election a year in advance before it that Biden was going to lose. At that time, we thought it would be Biden, because I was tracking the fact that demographic support, since you were trying to yell about black men there at the end, Tom, that demographic support was shifting, and that it had a lot to do with the fact that our side, quote unquote, the side that I was going to end up voting for, was ignoring these problems, and that demographic shift would be our downfall. The day before the election happened, I put out what I have so far seen. I have not yet seen a person predict the election better than me. I was off by 2 states, only 2. So Tom, you sitting here and acting like there's some awareness you have that I don't is very funny, because I can prove in every way that the stats don't back up your shit, and whatever you think I haven't noticed ain't shit either. But if you're going to sit there and try and lecture us on, well, voters really want to vote over this tiny myopic thing that does not affect most of their lives, damn, that sucks that you think the electorate is that stupid and that unwinnable. But personally, I suspect there is a future in which we can actually win on the basis of both meeting people where they're at and telling them the truth without trying to gaslight them into thinking they're doing better than they can. Tom, I'm unmuting you now. Make your final point. You have 2 seconds. Go.
I mean, okay.
Thank you.
Tom
I didn't care
likes
about the
back to
rest.
front.
I just didn't give a shit about the rest.